Hello once again. Here I am, and it is 1:15 in the afternoon. The sun is shining, gotta point that out because that's massive. And, come on Jack, a little bit of wind, lots of bird song. And I thought what I'd do is just take you down to the bottom of the drive and back up again. Because it's been some time since we've been down the drive. I spent about, a good long afternoon last week with the help of my daughter in the rain, cutting back much of the growth on the driveway because it was hanging down and really kind of just falling over and proving quite difficult to manoeuvre the car up. And you know, my car, as you can see, is a tiny car. So I was quite pleased with the result, because even though it meant having to cut, there was a lovely shape sort of emerging from it. Now, when I was out this morning with my coffee, I noticed that in here, just beyond the little angel, is where a little animal has been making its little abode. There seems to be a sort of a little tunnel thing emerging, and you can see here, look, where the grass is flattened. So that's quite interesting. And also I noticed, because I've got water rats down by the pond, down by the lower pond, because you can see the little tunnels there. And this morning I was looking out the kitchen window, and one of them just came up the drive and was walking round this way. And I think it was looking, for the bread that I put out for the birds. A beautiful, beautiful creature. And of course, rats, are very intelligent. But water rats, anyone of you who's read The Wind in the Willows will be in love with water rats, because of course they're just beautiful creatures. So here we go, look at the sunshine on the drive. Isn't that gorgeous? And there's a sort of a tunnel effect. So, of course, where you have little water rats boldly walking up the drive, you've got to think about what's overhead here. And eventually, of course, with the more and more creatures inhabiting Bealtaine Cottage, you will have birds of prey. And also, what I'm really, really hoping for is for that beautiful bird, the owl to take up residence. I would love to hear the hoot of the owl at night. I think that would just be, for me, it would be the icing on the cake of all the work of planting and nurturing that's happened here over the years. So lots of little moths and little butterflies, and that looks like little cabbage white. And just look back up here so you can see, and you can see the wealth of flowers and plants growing on either side. And look, there's the other little oak tree. I think I brought 2 oak trees back from London last year, and that's one of them. The other one is down near the gate. Anyway, we'll continue walking down. I love this dappled shade. And of course just the sound of the trees rustling. this morning I was on social media. I just briefly go on to Twitter and to the Facebook page each morning and put out a few photographs, and it just really came home to me now about the ease of maintenance in terms of, having to use machines, so mowers. And so I put a little thing on Twitter about, just instead of having a lawn, try at least to begin to think about what a little woodland garden would look like and how easy it would be to maintain. Because when people think woodland, they only think trees. Well, most people. I mean, those of us who are more creative, and I'm sure you are, having looked at Bealtaine, will see that it's more than just trees that make a woodland, because the healthiest woodland is one with biodiversity really stacked in it. And so it's about ground cover, and it's about shrubs, and it's about all different kinds of trees and hedges and ferns and honeysuckle and everything that goes to make up a complex regenerative woodland. And even just with a small lawn, you can have real beautifully filled, exciting days creating that. So I'm just looking now at the beautiful fuchsia, which I love, and it's so beloved. And you can see, look, the little butterflies. I'm looking over there now by the pond. Look at the flag iris. You see, I haven't got my glasses on, so I can see in the distance. Let me see. It's sort of about there. Anyway, you'll be able to see it in the camera. And look at this beautiful little... Oh, it's flittered away. Just landing on the oxeye daisy. Of course, you can see the plantain beside that. And then the buttercup. And look in here. Some nettles growing there in the hedgerow, and birch and beech and ribes and more beech and birch and ash and fuchsia. Just the lovely complexity. And there's the other little oak tree. See? Now it looks a wee bit yellow, so I must get some of my compost down here around that. Probably needs a bit of food. Here's Jack running back in. He's very good now, he doesn't go beyond the gate. He waits for me. So we'll just turn round and look back up. I mean, this on its own, this driveway on its own, is like one very, very long garden. And I think we've got to shake off those old notions of what a garden is and think more creatively. Because I know in all the years I lived in London, and I used to love walking, and you'd go past some old buildings that had been closed up and boarded up, and maybe there was a concreted parking lot beside the building, and over the years all kinds of trees and shrubs had pushed their way up through the concrete and you'd be looking in at this incredible garden created, well, really created by the birds, because the birds and the wind and the insects. But the birds and the wind would have been dropping seeds, and sometimes just the seeds would have just pushed their way up through this concrete, and there'd be these incredible gardens. And so my idea of what a garden was, is and could be sort of broke out of that box. And even though I would still, you know, go to the Chelsea Flower Show and have an allotment, create a garden, read lots of gardening books. So in many ways I was sort of a conformist gardener, but I was continually reminding myself to think like a child, because I think that when you think like a child in your little garden space, you begin to get a lot more creative, because you see things in minutiae, in detail, that adults can overlook. So I'll just walk out to the very edge of the driveway, just to the entrance. I'll just stand here on the edge of the road and leave you with this parting shot. Oh, and just as I finish, there's one of those horrible machines started up. So I just want to say blessings to you all, and do think about your lawn and the time you spend on it, and how it could be, and how you could have a lot more fun in your garden. Blessings.